Don't tell her about King Queen.
Oh,
That's a private, intimate moment.
I went to the lodge yesterday after I got off the job. The very first hand I played, Jake tried to bully me for $1,000. I caught him with ace high, and I won a $2,000 call. He gave me $1,000 for free on the first hand. Very first hand. Gave me $1,000 very first hand. I caught him with ace high. That's how bad he is.
He totally thought ace high was good, yeah.
Welcome to a special Friday night edition, live at the Palms. My name is Matthew Myers, filling in for Hoops Mike tonight, as he's off doing some football, I believe. But we got a little special game tonight, 10-20 limit, Yellow 8 or, Omaha 8 or better. I'm joined tonight by Matt Reynolds.
What's up?
And we will be calling the action live at the Palms. You know much about 08?
Very little, so I'm probably...
No, we're good. I know plenty.
There we go.
Not sure of the table dynamics yet, as you know, we're getting in on this very first hand ourselves. So we're going to see who's a grinder, who's a, gambler. I don't know what it's going to look like early, but this is, to me, under-repped game. You can make money at this game. You can lose a lot of money at this game. One of my biggest losses ever was a 15-30 game at the Venetian. So this exact game. We'll see how many people are splashing versus how many people are folding.
You were supposed to play this game tonight, right?
I was. This is one of my favorite games. I feel like, it's one of those games where you feel like you have an edge. Whether I do or not, I have no idea. But the 4-card high-low variety, if you're really interested in making money at it, it all comes down to hand selection. Like this hand here by Dean, that is that's a great hand. So we're going to see how this plays out. He should be raising, which he does. Rodney's going to call with some, ace-4 combination. These are hands that kind of play themselves. Obviously, you got to have 3 cards lower. 3 individual cards lower than an 8. I know you know that, to make the low. So the low is not always there, but high, every hand is made. We'll go to our first flop. 5, 7, 9, 2 diamonds.
Jim flopped the nuts.
Yes, he did. So he's going to play it, but Dean's going to be in there too with the nut low draw, uncounterfeitable with the ace-deuce 3. Anybody else have anything? Maybe Jonas comes along with top pair. It's easy to call one bet. This is what makes this game good. For a guy like Jim, he should be getting paid off here. So the diamonds may scare him. Fortunately, nobody has that. But it might just move him to check call mode, which is easy to do when it's $20. Or easier.
You need this little place.
Looks like it just checks through. Now the low gets there, so I think you're going to get a bet from Dean of 20 and probably a call by Jim. He's got to see it. So Jonas is going to bow out.
Now, for anyone that's watching that might not be familiar with this game, the fact that they're playing 10-20 limit, what is the most that they can bet on each street?
Well, the blinds are 5 and 10.
Okay.
And so pre-flop and on the flop, it's a bet of $10, and you can get that maximum of 4 raises. And then on the turn in river, it's the $20 bet. And again, maximum of 4 raises. I'm not sure if they're playing the structure tonight. It is played a lot of places where heads up on the river, unlimited raises.
Okay.
So you can open it up. But, after about 6 or 7 and you don't have the nuts, you eventually just shut it down and call.
Sure. A lot of red chips on the table tonight.
Typically, that's what's going to be.
These guys are going to be ass to ankles once somebody gets some more of them in there.
You're talking about $10 and $20 bets, the red chips play best.
Sure.
Right now, there won't be a lot of blacks, greens on the table as they don't mathematically produce the results you want. Racer Nerd, you are correct. This game does take a special crowd. But it's a fun game if you get to learn it. One thing I do like about the Palms is we are showcasing multiple games. A lot of people only think 1-2 or just no limit, not 1-2, but any stakes is the only game. But not here in Austin. There's definite forms of a lot of mixed game players.
Sure, that's the beautiful thing about this place. I mean, on any given night, you could walk in and there's 2-1-3s going, and the next night it's 2 games of mixed games.
Absolutely.
10, 25, 50 PLO in the back, you know. There's always something, you know, a little different for everybody here. And that's the thing that I really like about this stream as well. We're trying to showcase something that other clubs or even other streams nationwide aren't really showcasing, which is, you know, just a little bit of everything for everybody.
100% here. I mean, we have a table in here tonight that's strictly mixed games from...
You got a 20-40 mixed out there right now, yeah.
I mean, you got Badusi, Badasi, no Badusi, but, you know, there's a lot of great games in there.
Cross it off the list.
Badoogie Pot Limit only.
Badoogie Pot Limit only.
Some jabroni back here asking. What's going on in this hand? I think we kind of
well, Jonas
got a
is
little
gonna have the nut straight, but Jim's got the nut flush. So I mean, he's gonna bet, and you know, I think Jonas is gonna put in a call just to see it. Again, that's one of those things where, you know, hand selection up front, it's gonna get you a little bit of trouble, but it's worth a $20 call. You know, you kind of gauge people's play in a limit game. I tell you, honestly, the greatest thing when I ever started playing poker to even teach me about Hold'em was playing limit Hold'em. And you got an opportunity to see, like, everybody doesn't always have the nuts. Even if it was no limit, whatever, you know, I think it sharpens your game a little bit and prepares you for bigger games, which, as you said, some of these 25, 50 PLO games can get absolutely huge, but you don't want to have to call $1,300 on the river with the straight there. So 20s to call. You can see, okay, I was beat, but, you know, gauge kind of the game. I mean, this game is going to be one of those games, too, where I think is a little underrated, or I guess you shouldn't lose a ton of money in this game.
I think I could find a way to lose a lot of money in this type of game. That's
I've heard
just
that
the way I
several
play.
times today. But, I mean, it would be tough to lose. I mean, you just got to be playing everything. If you want to be a winning player at this game, like I said, hand selection up front is kind of...
That is my issue. Any 4 cards to me just look amazing. So
is that sober or is that drunk? Is that any way that...
Sober, they all look really pretty. And then when I'm drunk,
Even
a lot of
better.
ones start looking like 10s, you know? So,
yeah.
3 deuces and an ace.
Similar to the night at the bar. You know, the later it gets, the better they look.
That's right.
And again, Eli starts out with a monster suited ace-deuce 4. In a high-low game, that's going to play very well. And at this point, you know, you're trying to get in. When you have hands like that, you try to get in as many bets as you can.
Sure. Trying to juice that pot up with a hand like that.
Yeah, and if you get the right crowd, I mean, you're going to get, you know, if there's players on the table tonight, you should get some, like, some splashers in here.
Sure.
That'll make it 3 bets, 4 bets. Let's get this thing 4 bet up pre. Let's get the pot big enough you can win some money.
We still really don't have a large enough sample size to see if anybody's going to be that kind of player, I guess. Waiting to get some hands right here. Anyways, while we're waiting on getting these hands read, Matt, I know you love trivia, so do you got any trivia for us?
I have a ton of trivia. Always. We can, you know, kill questions out throughout the night. You know, this is a question I heard the other night for anybody that wants to know or anybody has any general knowledge about, which I know there's not a lot out here that know about Nobel Peace Prize winners. But one of the questions I had the other night, which I missed, was out of these 4 people, 2 have won the Nobel Peace Prize. Please, if you're in the chat, you can answer, but you've got the 4 to choose from: Cesar Chavez, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and Henry Kissinger. Please, if you know the answer, you can shoot it to us via the chat. We'll give you a shout out if you get them right. I did not. You got to get them both right to get it right, though. It can't just be one. First answer wrong. First answer wrong.
Going back to step.
We got our super producer Sonny in here giving us a little feedback. Oh, we lost the video.
Oh, don't tell me that. You joking me, right?
No.
Right now?
No.
You okay?
All right, let's hit him with that trivia then, baby.
We are flying blind.
There we go.
There
There
we
we go. That's why we pay him the big bucks here.
Thank you, Sonny. You're the man.
This right here. Gotcha.
Mixed Game Mike from Rounders Live. You are unfortunately incorrect. It's a good guess.
Now, my guess earlier was Kissinger and Chavez, and I was wrong.
Yes, and mine was Gandhi and Kissinger, and I was wrong. Kissinger is one, but Mahatma Gandhi, no sir. Only nominated 5 times. They know him as
What did you say?
he's
You said
really
the Susan Lucci.
of the Nobel Peace Prize community. He's been nominated 5 times, never to get the award.
Never won.
Never.
All right.
Unfortunate.
Well, let's get back to some poker, though. I'm sure people are... more
Eli
upset.
with the correct fold. King 7-5 deuce should fold.
King, queen, deuce. Now, where would you rate this hand?
It's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I'd come in for a call myself, just to see the flop.
Sure.
Because the high is always going to be there. I love a hand like deuce 3, 4, 4 because it plays good to a wheel. You can flop a set.
Sure.
There's plenty of activity you can get on something like that. Even the king, jack, jack 3. And as you see, in a lot of these hands, what are we, six ways to the flop? So, the pot, it was raised. 5, 7, 9, 6, 8 is going to play. Jam again.
Jim again,
Nuts.
flopping the same straight. Now, I've got a question for you, Matt. Are you going to see a lot of, 6 ways to the flop in a game like this as
Yes.
opposed to, okay.
At the limits that it's played at tonight, 10 or 10-20, especially with the pre-flop action being
Sure.
10, you're going to get people that just want to see, even with any 4, they're going to want to see if they connect.
So this would be the perfect game for me then. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Just to play every hand, just to see if it connects.
All right. So now we have a low available as well, which looks like Jim is the only one that there is no low. So
Nobody-
Jim is going to take this pot without a board pair, right?
Well,
Or
yeah,
actually, he's got that locked up as well.
there is no low currently because, there is,
Oh,
but
the
Jim
9.
can't get it. He, his 8s are on the board. So if another low card comes, he'll actually have the only qualifying low with a live 6, which is, that's not typically going to win any money in most of these pots, but in this one, it would. Now he's going to continue to call because he does have the straight. He's vulnerable here to the 9-10,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's actually going to get scooped. No, I'm sorry. He's not vulnerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have thought that Matt has it. He's going to get scooped.
But he did get the low actually.
No, the graphics
Why?
wrong.
The graphics are wrong. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. He has an ace. What am I talking about? Yes, ace 6.
Yes,
is gonna
A6.
play.
Okay, there we go.
I apologize. Ace 6
Goodness.
was his low. So, it's a chop, and he's in there with the 6-8. So you're never going to get him out for 20 on the river. But, yeah, typically, the funny thing is he thought he was going to get some of that pot with his straight.
Sure.
But ended up winning with the low, and the other guy gets it with the...
Man, I just want to take the time to just give a shout out to Mike Youngblood, our commentator. This is a difficult job back here trying to watch everything and see what's going on. So I mean, shout out to him. He's just a pro, and goodness, I mean, God bless him for being able to sit back here and do this, 3-4 times a week for us.
Yeah, absolute pro. I mean, I can talk crap with the best of them, and trust me, I'm judging every one of these guys.
Yeah,
for sure. Apologize to everybody, but if you make a turd play, I'm going to call you out on it. This is not your typical stream game. To me, honestly, the most boring game to play is No Limit Hold'em. This is a much better game to play. I don't know if it shows better on a stream than what 1-2 shows, or 5-10 or whatever the limit may be for Hold'em.
Well, I mean, you can just see it in their faces. They look like they're having a fucking blast.
Absolutely. God. I mean, really in the eyes, because even the guys with the masks are... It's all...
You smile with your eyes,
I mean, for the hands I've seen, Dean is running super pure with his low draws, these ace-deuces every time. But again, here we go. You're going to get 5 ways, 6 ways every flop. And you're going to see some of the, check call mode a lot of times in these games.
Yeah. Looks like Eli's got the best of it pre-flop. Ace, queen, queen, 4.
Ace 3,
and
5.
Looks like he still has the best of it right now.
Dean's going to go nowhere, though, with top pair. With the deuce 6 low draw. So he's got some wheel draws, wheel 6 draws. Wheel 6, anytime you play in a high-low game, it's going to be hard to beat.
So you brought up something that just kind of triggered my brain a little bit. Another thing for anyone out there that might be unfamiliar with this game, being that it's PLO 8, there is a high and a low. Can you just explain to the crowd about the factor that they have to have unique cards for the low?
3 unique cards underneath an 8, and an ace counts as both high and low in this game. So, with that flop, there was obviously going to be a low, but you've got to have the unique cards to get one as well. And Dean, at this point, would do 6. He has the second nut low. Only the wheel's going to beat him. Now, nobody's got a wheel, and in this game and in this format, he's going to be in check call mode because he thinks he's going to get half the pot, but no reason to be raising or anything like that.
And there it is. Low just got there, right?
Low was already there.
Low was already there. Do 6. I'm sorry.
Right. Now Jim gets there again. Jim is king of 6-8. He's going to end up chopping with Jonas.
Jim with the 6-8 again, yeah.
Yeah. Jonas has got the 6-8, and Dean's going to make the $20 call and get some of this low. Or he's actually going to quarter him up. So he's going to get half the pot. The other two are getting a quarter. This would be a spot, too. If you really don't put anybody, since you have 2 deuces in your hand, it's hard to put somebody on deuce 4.
Sure.
You might throw in a raise thinking these 2 guys are sharing it up. But he doesn't. Just a call. And Dean's going to get his 50% low. And the other 2 are going to get quartered up with the 6-8.
Now, how often are you going to see spots like this in this type of game where somebody's getting quartered up?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit?
Yeah, because hand selection, as you see, is just so marginal. Jack 8, 7, 6, Jack 8, 6, 3. I mean, these guys, are playing hands that typically only play one way. But, when you make straights, obviously that's literally the most high that it can be tied. Obviously if you have the nut flush, that's not going to be... you got the winner.
Yeah.
You got a boat. It's hard to make a boat. Straights, you make a straight, somebody else could likely have that same straight. And it's the same with the low. So you're going to see a lot of people getting quartered with ace-deuce. So it is PLO, 8 or better, whatever the game, the most overplayed hand, Big O, anything like that in one of these high-low games is ace-deuce. Nobody will fold it. I don't care. If their children have to go in the middle, then they'll get half the kid back. I mean, that's all they care about is playing ace-deuce. To me, in any form of poker, the nut flush draw is overplayed.
Sure.
Because everybody plays it to the river. They're going to see all 5. But in a high-low game, ace-deuce is the... Any other combination, you could have 3 other blanks in your hand. Ace-deuce is playing till they see, the river.
Sure.
Typically.
Oh, yeah.
I'm it's not good for the stream when you see folds, but I'm glad to see some of these guys are folding some of these turd hands, you know? I mean, ace, king, queen, 7, suited ace. He raises the 20. I mean, it's really a one-way hand. I guess ace 7 plays, you know, for some sort of low, but king, king, queen, 8, again, one way. Jim's probably got the best two-way hand here, but he's sharing all his cards with Matt. So, Jack 9, 7 on this flop. So kings are still good, I believe. And not a lot of draws out there.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 6 peel off for Jim right here. Give him that same straight again.
And surprisingly, nobody ever has a flush draw in this game. Every straight's been good. It's amazing. This is amazing first few hands. I've never seen a high-low game with 0 flush draws. But as you can see, on that first one, Jonas calls because he's just got the straight gutter with kings. So he wants to see if that 10 peels off. Now the heart comes off. He's going to be in check. If anybody will bet it, they'll probably take it down. But everybody gets scared, kind of slows the action, which is slow to begin with. Check, check. Kings win. There is a low out there. Unfortunately, the 2 left in it can't win any of it. So Kings is going to take it down, which is rare. One pair scooping a pot in this game. It's not likely.
Well, all right. So you got any more trivia for us, Maddie?
I do. I do have a trivia question for all you, let's say younger crowd out there. I don't know what the average age of the people listening or watching to us tonight is.
Demographic about 14 to 21.
So, yeah, they'll fit right in on this one. Again, 2 points available. If you miss one, you are going to miss the whole question. 4 singers. 2 of them starred in shows on the Disney Channel. Out of the 4 I list, please pick your 2. Number 1, Selena Gomez. Number 2, Ariana Grande. 3, Demi Lovato. 4, Olivia Rodrigo. 2 of those starred in a Disney Channel show. Name those 2. Please, anybody in the chat, feel free to chime in on these. Dan Shapiro, your friend is in the game. I don't know what his name is, but thanks for joining the chat. If he's tight and he's much looser than you, then you may never be welcome at this game, sir. You're going to have to splash around to make the stream. Even though that wasn't a requirement for this one. It's kind of a trial run for this 08 or better. It's been less than splashy. Here we go.
Eli flopping a set of deuces.
With the ace blocker. 4-5 is definitely in play. I think Rodney will probably call with the 5-6. You know, he's looking at a gut shot. He's got a hand that can play both ways. Deuces full of 3s. Well, basically you're just going to end up with the Mary Valdez, Selena, and Demi. That is incorrect.
Selena Gomez.
Go ahead, hold on. Mixed game, again, Ariana and Selena. That is also incorrect. Steve Alvarez, Ariana and Demi. Also incorrect. Let him know.
Chat's lighting up with this one.
Let him know.
Olivia Rodrigo
Yes.
and Selena Gomez.
That is incorrect.
No, Selena Gomez was on
Wizards of Waverly Place.
that was a Disney show, wasn't it?
That was not. The correct answer is Olivia Rodrigo
And Demi
Lovato. Camp Rock.
Okay.
Player. Don't tell me you haven't watched it, please. I know better. I know better.
I was more of a salute your shorts kind of guy.
For those of you that don't know, Mr. Reynolds is a music aficionado, along with myself. 2 of the finest in the Austin area. Please, don't let it fool you, okay? Our knowledge is vast. We can go Disney. We can go 70s rock, whatever you need.
I'd actually like to see the chat hit us with some trivia.
Yeah, if you have a trivia question that you think you can stump us with, hit us with it. Mary Valdez, Steve Alvarez. Shout out to Beef if he's watching. My boy Beef. Steve Alvarez, local. I'm not gonna say legend because he's under the radar, but he would certainly splash around in this game. He's made some loose calls in his day in an Omaha game for sure.
All right, waiting on Dean's cards to scan.
Again, I mean, a lot of one-wayers here. King 9-7's never going to play for the low. I like Matt's hand here. Rodney's hand's never going to get the low. But the ace-3-5 seems to be, maybe tap Ricky on the shoulder, tell him to give him a wash or a shuffle. Let's go, Ricky. We hate this 8-3-5. And nobody ever has deuce 4. 4-6, again, 4-5, I think, or 4-6. Check call. Matt's always going to call 10. He's going to see, he's going to commit the $50 to this hand. 10 on the flop, 20 on the turn, and 20 on the river. If he hits a deuce, though, he'll raise it up. Did somebody pick up a flush draw? No. Rodney with the set of deuces, he's got the only jack high flush draw out there with a pair now. And the trip threes, it looks like Matt may scoop. No, he's not scooping. I'm sorry. Dean's gonna get the high.
Yeah, I think our action tracker was off. I thought Rodney had flopped a set of deuces earlier.
Dean's gonna get the high. Matt folds. I don't understand why he would fold there. If you call the turn with 4-6, you just have to lose the other $20 if they have something better than you. Period. Let's go. Let me see what we got here. From the chat. And I don't know the answer to this. Maybe you will.
All right, hit me with it.
How did the term redneck start?
I should know this, being from old Elmont, Texas. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know it.
My mom would be so mad she could spit that I don't know this. Oh, man. I'm going to say that it's because working out on the farm all day, that sun's just beating down on the back of your neck.
That's going to be the official answer of this commentating duo. Sundaram, please let us know if that is the correct answer. Thank you for the question. Don't ever send another one like that again, okay? Real trivia. Amazingly, we have the ace-4-5 flop again. It's not quite the same, but it does seem to be 5 or lower is the only thing that's coming out on the flop. Jonas had a good hand. Ace-Queen 8 deuce. Badoogie, but solid. Ace-8 King deuce. Almost a Badoogie. Ace-Queen 6 deuce. So we actually had some hands here. Now you've got 3 guys that are just basically sharing the wheel. So you'll probably see some calls and raises here. Anybody get that? Oh, and again, Eli's going to call with the queen high flush draw. 2 pair. This would be nice for Eli to actually make a boat or a flush and really be able to get some raises in here. Here we go. Now we start to see some action where it's getting raised. 3 bet, 40 to call. You got people just, all the wheels are never going to fold. And the only guy that had any opportunity to make a better hand, he folded.
He go.
This is going to be a 3-way chop. Oh, no, I apologize. Paul, who's just calling, needs to be raising because he has wheel 6.
Oh, Eli's flush would have gotten there.
Yes. But Paul should have been raising. He should have definitely been 4-betting. I guess it was 4-bet for him, but check, check, check. Paul's going to get... He's going to get a lot of this pot. Half the pot's going to go to him for the 6-high straight. He's the only one with that. And then he's going to get a third of the remaining half with the ace-deuce along with the other 2. Wheel 6. If you're playing Omaha Hi-Lo and all you can do is make the wheel 6 every hand, you're just going to die a millionaire. I mean, that's just how it's going to work. You're going to make money. Answer come in. They wore a red handkerchief.
Oh.
We were way off. God.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber reference there.
It was originally a labor union based in West Virginia for coal miners. Steve Alvarez with another question. A little more up your alley.
Let's go.
What movie was Steven Spielberg's first Oscar? Hold on that. I'm assuming you mean Best Director Oscar? Is that what we're talking about here, Steve? Please let us know in the next chat if you would, so we can properly answer this. Before we wait for the next ace-deuce 3 flop.
If it's Best Director, my guess would be Close Encounters.
That would be your guess?
I think so.
I would not guess that.
You think it's later or
Yes.
earlier?
No, I think it's later.
So then, goodness, that's gonna stump me. I honestly don't know. I would have thought it would have been, it would have been post Jaws. So
Yeah,
I would have thought maybe Close Encounters or.
I mean, what, name some of his bigger ones. E.T., but he didn't win an Oscar for that, I don't believe. Does he have a Best Director? He's got to have a Best
Well,
Director.
he won one for Saving Private Ryan. I know that. Was that his first one?
I'm going to say that's his first one.
Okay.
Our answer is Saving Private Ryan. Oh, we're getting some good questions coming in.
Oh, great.
As well. Dan Shapiro also guessed Close Encounters of the Third Kind, question
My
mark.
boy Dan.
Well, we're going to guess Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Here's one for you, though. And this, obviously for the chat world. In The Big Lebowski, the dude can't stand what band?
The Eagles. The fucking Eagles, man.
We're going to take that and edit that out. But the Eagles, I believe, was the answer. The effing Eagles is a beautiful tribute band out of Killeen, Texas.
We're not supposed to cuss on here.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But
I'll go
Sonny
ahead.
wants to know who directed Color Purple.
Oprah?
No. She may have been the executive producer. I don't
I
believe
think she was in it.
Yeah, she was. She was. Before she made her billions.
Yeah.
And we'll wait for this answer. But it sounds very sure that it was the Eagles.
Oh, 100%.
100% on that one.
100%.
Got him. And Jim's going to take you down with the Jack-Eye Flush.
Jimbo Slice.
Beating the Trip Nines. Couldn't make a boat, Dean. Plus 80. A lot of action.
Now, I'm not sure what these guys started with, but
Everybody had about $1,000.
Okay.
I mean, that's really kind of what they came in for in this game. Spielberg, he says, did The Color Purple.
really?
Sonny's full of them tonight.
And was that his first Oscar?
Could have been. I really don't know. Incorrect. Schindler's List.
Schindler's List.
That was my first guess, too.
How
But
did
you
we-
talked me out of it.
Oh, my
For sure. And to be honest, I thought Schindler's List, but I wasn't 100% sure he even directed it, so I didn't say it. I didn't want to say something that I didn't know he for sure directed to look extra stupid. Which I've done in the past. I've looked stupid, and then there's times you look extra stupid. But hey, another great hand by Paul, and just Jonas, Eli, just by sheer historical numbers right now with what Ricky's doing, about 3 of these guys should flop the wheel or come very close. Well, good. We're finally out of the ace-deuce 3 flops. But 10, 6, 7, 2 spades is going to lead to Jonas being in there with a gutter in the nut spade draw. Paul is never folding ace-deuce, as we know. 10, 6 is never folding. And Matt even calls with deuce 3 because he has top pair and a back door. Or no back doors, I'm sorry. 5 gets there. And so the low comes in. 3 unique low cards out there, 6, 7, 5. Paul, ace deuce 3, he's uncounterfeitable, so you know he's going to call to the end. Still people, yeah, 20 to call, bet. The ace-10, the nut flush draw is still calling. He also has 2 pair now with 10s and 5s. 10s and 6s calling. Nobody's getting out of line yet. And there it is, the boat. 10s full of 6s. So this is going to be chopped down by Jim and Paul. And I think Paul's correct here. If you just have the nut low, there's no reason to lead with that. You don't want to be quartered, so you basically turn into, even in a PLO game, you kind of check call, or not PLO, but Big O. You want to check call with ace deuce and not bloat the pot to get quartered. So the boat comes in. Low is already there. Chop it up. See if we got anything in the chat. Definitely we have a Lebowski fan for sure.
Got another Lebowski question in there?
Excuse me, Mary Valdez with a little extra. He directed Schindler's List while finishing editing Jurassic Park, for those who didn't know. What is Post Malone's favorite restaurant? I believe it's Olive Garden. I heard that.
Yeah.
I heard that somewhere. Please tell me I'm correct. That is the true answer. I think it's Olive Garden. He loves
He
it.
seems more like a Buffalo Wild Wings type of guy.
You're right,
to me.
he does. I mean, he seems like he's a Luby's
He has a
fan. But
standing reservation at Lube.
yeah, for the Luann's plate there.
The old Luann
But I do
platter.
think it's Olive Garden. That's my answer on that one for sure.
I just got to give a shout out to Mike Judge. One of the best fucking jokes in King of the Hill history is the girl's name is Luann Platter.
Wow, that's her name? That's a real...
You never watch King of the Hill?
I tell this to people all the time. I'm an older gentleman, gray hair. I've never watched any animated show as an adult. So I've never seen...
That is one that I would beg of you to at least give a shot.
I've never seen The Simpsons. I've never seen an episode of South Park, Archer, Family Guy.
Archer's great.
Never seen anything animated. I don't know what my deal is.
Family Guy
with it,
definitely
but-
fell off. Archer is top notch.
And it was correct, Olive Garden.
Olive Garden.
Got him! Sometimes I know some of the strangest stuff that nobody should know. But I heard that somewhere.
Oh, Post Malone.
A lot of kings tonight. Aces versus kings, which is a fairly anticlimactic hand in a game like, this in 08.
Flops a set of aces.
Flops a set. King
He's probably
five's
not going to
just
get
gonna
much
fold.
here because, Rodney doesn't really have much to work with here.
And he wants to tax any low, so Mr. J is going to just win this pot. Another big one. So a lot of one-handers. You don't need two hands to scoop these pots in sometimes. But you need you need a lot of one-handers. For sure.
Music's off. What's going on here?
Chip count looks like Dean's the big winner right now. Is up 400. While again, somebody's down about 550. I mean, the swings in this game are relatively tame, but if you play good hands, you make some hands. The opportunity for you to win 1,000, 2,000 every session in this particular game is here. And I think that's kind of an underrated thing. I mean, these people always want to play no limit hold'em, and if you just ask somebody, how many professional players would you say Matt?
Professional?
Yeah, they
goodness.
make their living playing poker, and that's all they do.
Honestly, probably 20 to 30.
Right, and if you asked them honestly, if you could guarantee yourself 1,000 a day in a winning session, they would all say yes.
100%.
100%. And this is one of the games you can do it. I mean, I don't understand why it's not bigger for people that play. I mean, I guess there's not enough people to play it, but it's a game. I think it's harder to make 1,000 in 1-2 no limit than it is in this game. It is for sure.
Of course.
But they just love no limit. TV has made it such a. I mean, just put it on a pedestal for
Sure.
poker. It used to be, I don't know, 30 years ago, you go into any casino and the only poker game going was stud. Now, if they have one game of stud, the average age at the table is 74 years old. Nobody plays a stud game anymore, which I can see. I hate stud myself, but the Omaha games, the Omaha varieties, I do like the mixed games too. And there's money to be made. You just got to, learn some variants. I know, and I don't know if you're still doing it, because of some of the hours have shifted and some stuff that's going on here, but you guys used to spread a really good deuce to 7 game.
We did have a deuce. We're working on getting that one back right now. We're trying to find the day that works best for everybody. But yeah, man, that was a really killer game. I've seen people, win heaps in that game.
Only game in Austin too. There's
Yeah.
no other deuce to 7 games. I mean, so if you're a deuce to 7 fan, this would be the perfect place for you. First of all, the Palms aesthetically is the best place. It's it looks the best. It's
Sure.
just the best.
Hands down.
I'm getting a trivia question offline here, and I don't know the answer without giving you dead air here and thinking about it. I'm gonna say it was at TCH. I mean, no, that's wrong.
What's the question? Let me see.
Where was the first time I ever played with Sonny? Started with an L. Home game? Was it Oscars? Oh wow.
Trivia question was, what is the largest desert in the world?
Largest desert in the world.
The Gobi Desert? Sahara? Oh, the Arctic. That's right. That is considered a desert.
You're
That
getting a little
is
tricky
correct.
on us now.
Yeah, there you go. There's one for the stream. Little geography. What's the largest desert in the world? Hit us with it, please. And at the end, I'll ask, what? I'm not afraid to put my money where my mouth is. We'll give you a hard one if somebody answers it correctly. And be honest. Don't be going to Google, and you come up here and you're the person that answers it correctly. And you come up here one day and I'm here, I'll buy you dinner. Not zero problems.
It's a deal. I've got a good trivia question while we're getting these cards out, and it's one of my favorite ones. I grew up with this album. It's a classic rap album. Dr. Dre's Chronic 2001. What year did that album drop?
I mean, the album itself is called The Chronic 2001.
Yes. Let's see if anybody in the chat knows it. We'll hit you with that answer in a little bit.
Yeah.
What year did Dr. Dre's follow up to The Chronic 2001, what year did that come out?
It's a good question. I mean, I really don't know that.
It's a trick question. You want to go with 2001? I'll go ahead and eliminate that from your answers.
And if you couldn't eliminate that from your answers, you shouldn't be answering that question, okay? And we got it going again, the old 5-6 way. King 7-3, and that's why Rodney plays King 9.
Rodney!
6-7, so he can flop 2 pair and still be in trouble by bigger kings, still be vulnerable. But now that you flop 2 pair, Rodney, go ahead and bet it.
Don't know what Dean has just yet. No flush draw available as of yet.
But Rodney does, I think, bet. Yeah, Rodney bet the 10. And of course, he's going to get called by Eli, who, you know, really has the ace-4 low draw, second nut low draw. No back doors, but he could hit a jack, I guess.
Jonas is going to raise him up to 20.
With, oh, I'm sorry.
A
he's
lesser
got
2 pair.
Lesser 2 pair. Jim properly folds. Rodney calls with, you know, we're going to see a turn here. Well, this one's going to get good because Jonas now
Jonas now with 2 pair and the low.
Well,
No?
his low is terrible, ace-8, but he's got the king-high flush draw, so he's going to get in there. Eli's the one that
Didn't
has
see
the...
that.
Eli's not going to go anywhere. Oh, but there's a good case right there. Now he's playing a live 4. Ace came and counterfeited him, but it gave him a pair. and Jonas has got a bigger 2-pair now. And therefore, Rodney is going to lose his money. As we said, I don't know why you play King 9, 6, 7, because it's vulnerable to hands like Ace, King, 8, 3. In this game, try to play hands that play both ways. Hint.
Mike Youngblood checking in with us. He's asking that we get a little closer to the mics. Now, here we go. We had somebody answer this correctly. I don't know if this date is correctly. All I was asking for the year, but we did have a correct answer on when that album came out. It was 1999.
But it was called The Chronic,
2001. Arguably one of the best rap albums of all time.
I believe you. Who answered it? Info Palms? Yes. Nice. Good luck. My mic, I've always got to get closer to the mic. I mean, I think I should just be screaming. I'm just going to sit on the mic. It's amazing. Ace 5, 5, 6, double suited. Interesting hand. The other night I won a exact hand, except I had diamonds. I won a $4,000 pot Tuesday night with Ace 5, 5, 6 in a PLO game. So I remember it very distinctly. That's a decent hand, too. I mean, it plays both ways.
Mm-hmm. See, this King 10, 6, 4 actually lost a $4,000 pot the other night with that exact hand. That is right up my alley in cards I like to see.
9973, I mean, no. But he's going to call 10 to see. Queen 5 deuce 3 I like. It's okay for a $10.
Ooh.
Ace 4 is a nice for Paul. He's got the trip aces with the 5, 6. And he's got the only ace. So. Is there a diamond draw available? Yes. Jonas
Jim's
has
got
the 7, 8.
Jim's got the Queen High diamond draw.
Oh, okay. And there it is. Boat, nut boat, ace 6. I mean, that checked through. There's no way Paul should have checked that through. I mean, you have to bet the 10. You got to build this pot up. That's part of winning and getting value from the hands that you have. Is bet when you have trips. I mean, it may not be good now, but it can become good, and you want there to be money in the pot when you win it. I don't get the strategy. So now somebody bets because they have the nut low, which is okay. And then Paul's in there raising, killing all the action with, with the stones.
But he's going to get called from Jonas. I'm sure Mr. J is going to go ahead and put in a call here. He's got the low.
Yeah, that's all he's going to do. He shouldn't make it. He calls the 20. Jonas is putting, he's just giving money at this point. He has absolutely no shot to win.
And what gets there? A 9
Nothing.
of hearts. Doesn't do anything for anybody. So Mr. J and Paul are going to chop this hand up unless something crazy happens here.
If Mr. J or Paul, any of these guys fold to any bet, somebody should go smack them. They're playing the wrong game, or we're calling the wrong game.
There we go. We're going to see him chop it up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Matt, I'm going to step out for a second. I'll come back in just a minute.
Yeah.
Let me know if we get some more trivia going.
Oh, absolutely. Again, welcome to the Friday night. Kind of special night, really. No Mike Youngblood. Football has given him a reason to skip out on us tonight. But again, the game's a little different. 08, which I love. I know a lot of people don't. They don't like it, but I mean, I don't think they understand it. I don't think if they played it, they'd get it. We convert a lot of people here, really, to PLO. The action is much better than in Hold'em. It's just not a boring game. You can play more hands. You can get involved, things like that. So, Jack 6 for Jim is an auto fold. Anytime you have trips in a game like this, fold them, even if it's aces. I mean, your hand just has so much trouble improving. Ace 10, 5, 5 should probably come in for a raise, which he does. King Jack Ace Deuce should fold. but that's, you're going to get a lot of people seeing these flops for $20. Ace 10 9 7 comes in. Ace 9 8 8 comes in. Some of these hands, Ace King suited with a 3 is solid. So Jonas has a hand here which is going to play pretty well. There's no ace deuce out there, so all the aces are gone. Three, 6, 9. I like to call that the yin yang twins. Damn, she's fine. But in this particular hand, Jonas's low, which was ace 3, has now been counterfeited, so he's pretty much going to go check fold anywhere. And, I think maybe some 9s will stay around. Ace 4 is going to be there. Ace 5 is going to stick around. With the deuce now coming, the low is there. Dean's pretty much locked in for half this pot. He's not going to go. He should be in call mode at this point. Yeah, Dean's actually betting it. Eli's calling with one pair. Dean also has the spade draw, which doesn't get there. But King 9 now gets there, so Paul's going to definitely... Him and Dean are going to chop this one up, and Eli's just going to lose his money. But he folds. A lot of chops, obviously, in this game, just like there would be in Big O. But again, you want to get those, the way you make the money is having people in these hands. You get multiple people, multiple bets called, people sticking around to see what they got.
Oh boy!
Here's another trivia question for you.
Hit us with it.
What year did Devil's Night drop? I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what band that would be.
No. Can you...
Is that a movie? Is it a band?
Yeah, can you elaborate for us on that one? We don't know. Jody wanted to know who took that last pot about 5 minutes ago.
We might have jumped the gun on saying we're aficionados here.
Yeah. And I don't know who took the last pot. Sorry.
I was looking for my
That
Julie's
was
handles.
three pots ago. We're going to have a new pot right now. And Dean's going to get in there with King, King, Jack 6. I don't mind the raise here. Dean's a little splashy, which is what I like. He does have the one suit. The hand, there's always going to be a high, and he has kings. So I do like trying to eliminate some of the people if you're in early position raising it there.
And most of the guys seem like they're playing a little tighter here. So is this the type of table you want to play Oppo and be a little more aggressive on?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think the opportunity's there to... I mean, you get people calling a little bit light. I mean, trust me, Jim with 9-8-7-5 in a high-low game, maybe this, the worst possible hand possible. I mean, I don't know why he would want to play that.
Well, Eli's in there with 9-8-3 deuce.
The
I mean, is that going to be something good? Okay.
Yes. 3 deuce
you're talking to somebody that does not really know much about this.
So, I mean, at this point, Eli has the nut low draw with deuce 3. So he can get, that's the nut. You want to chase things that have the word nut in front of them, okay?
And as you were mentioning, he's getting to see a flop for relatively cheap.
Right. And so he has a flush draw and the nut low draw. Now, it may not be the best flush draw out there. It happens to be in this case, but as you can see, he's 3-betting. He wants to get money out there. Now, a hand like we had discussed before, the 9-8-5-6, it almost can never make the nut. If you make the nut high, somebody's going to have a low that beats you. If you make a straight that's not the nut high, you're almost always beat. Your low is never going to be that good. You're just giving money away at that point to play that hand.
Maddie hitting y'all with some strategy here. And the low gets there.
That is a horrible card for Eli's hand because the low did get there, but it counterfeits his low. Now, everybody, the craziest thing is if Rodney somehow makes a call for 20, he's going to win the low here because he's the only one. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, He's the only one with two distinct cards. Now he folded, which is what he should do with the
Sure.
7-8 low, but that 3 messed everybody up.
Dean's going to take down another one.
But I like Eli's play there. He had a flush draw and the nut low draw, and he was in there banging, 3-betting, trying to get that pot as big as possible. Now, Dean turns the set, and he ends up winning a hand that, frankly, he should have folded on the flop. But, you know, we've all seen people win hands they shouldn't be in. Happens all the time.
Did we get any update on this Devil's Night?
We did. So D12 is the band.
Oh, okay. This is Eminem.
Okay.
That would have been... Give me a minute. This is when I was growing up. This would have been high school for me.
Give him a minute. We don't have any drum rolls or any
Now, you know what?
great sound effects.
I'm wondering if because of the 2001 question, this maybe triggered something in their brain to give us an album that dropped in 2001.
Not
I'm
a
going to
lot.
say Devil's Night dropped in 2001.
You heard it. 2001's the answer. Steve, let us know. I don't have a guess on that one. 10-10-9-7 calls 10 again. It's a hand that's going to play one way. It can make the nuts. I mean, you're looking for a set here. Ace, 4-6. Very good hand for high-low. That plays both ways. Queen, Jack, Jack.
2001.
Glory
Steve,
story.
Steve,
Way
I had to
go,
look it
Dean.
up. It was 2001. We got it.
We already looked it up. You don't have to answer. We know. We got it. No, and he answered. Nice, correct. Way to trick us. Credit on that one.
You got to go with
Deuce.
the context clues there sometimes when you're dealing with trivia.
We got a Jeopardy expert. 9-4 deuce on the flop. Kind of kills Rodney's low. But, you know, no real high here. Aces are still good. But ace-3-5 is definitely going to call since he has the wheel wrap, which is a beautiful hand. So Jim should be... Jim, at that point, I don't know why he just called. He should have been absolutely jamming with a wheel wrap, ace-3-5-5 especially. He turns the wheel, which I said it earlier. If all you do is make the wheel in this game, you're going to be, you know, you're going to die a millionaire. So he's going to pound it. And the beautiful thing is Rodney turned top set. So he's calling. But that's where Jim needed to be pounding to get more in the pot. Right from the start. Especially when it's $10. Make it 20. Make him put it out there.
Ooh.
Now it's a chop. I mean, he's still got the wheel. Once you have the wheel, it always stays the wheel. You're going to get some of the pot. It's always the nut low.
Now with the structure of this game, I mean, are we really ever seeing Rodney fold that flop if Jim's trying to, you know, get some more money in there?
No, he'll probably look at the turn.
Sure, and then he's going to...
He's going to hit
Turn.
top set, and then he's going to...
He's going to see that river.
He's going to go check call, and then when he sees the river, he's going to go raise.
But for long-term success in this type game, you would want to see a raise there from Jim on the flop.
Absolutely. I mean, he doesn't have the hand yet, but God, he's got the wheel wrapped. So
Sure.
You're talking about a hand that plays both ways. He had backdoor diamonds. Get it in. I mean, let's start getting some money in. You know, even the same in PLO. When you have these huge hands, you know, Big O, PLO, start getting some money in so you can bet the turns and rivers to get people
Sure.
off of hands. Now, in this particular game, a limit game, you don't get people off hands, but you want to build the pot as big as possible when you have most of the cards win some of the pot for you, which he had all the low cards win him half the... And as you saw, some of the low cards could win him the high, too. Now, the guy hit the boat on the river, but you got to be getting it in there to punish anybody. I think we have somebody else on. I think we're sitting 7 now. We have somebody on the way. They're just taking their time.
Did we lose someone, or did we start 7?
I thought we started 7. I don't think we lost anybody. Definitely not. Nobody's answered that. Nobody's answered the largest desert in the world question yet. Is that too much for you guys? Too deep? I mean, we can dumb it down. You know what I'm saying?
We're wrinkling a few brains out there tonight.
That's what we should be doing. It's okay to think, guys. That's what PLO 8 does. I mean, we've got 17 now watching. Okay, come on.
Tens.
Tens of people enjoying this We're dropping pearls here, people. Tell your friends. Text them. Let them know. And honestly, the Palms is where it's at. I mean, if you like to play poker, if you like action, if you like comfort, come here.
All right. Flop
I'm
hasn't
sorry?
registered just yet. We did get an answer.
18.
8.
Got him. Thank you. Oh, excuse me, Mary. You did hear the answer for that one? I'm sorry then. Never mind. How about this? Who's got the smallest desert in the world? I don't know the answer, so don't just disregard that. I didn't like the tone of that answer. No, kidding. It's hard to judge from just the chat. So
Putting that hard period there at the end.
yeah. Queen 5-6. Another, Matt should be betting here. I mean, he's got spades. He's got the wrap, and yet he's just checking. I mean, it's $20. Put it out there. He's gonna call. If to me, if I'm gonna call, I might as well bet it.
Yeah.
If I get raised, it's another 20, and then I might make it 60. Eli comes in. He's got a little wrap too, so he should. I mean, come on, let's get some 4 bets here, guys.
Sure. I mean, you want to make sure you're getting paid if you're going to hit.
Man, truer words have never been spoken, and there it is.
And there it is.
Ace Jack comes in, and the good thing is Matt has Jack 9, so Eli should be getting some money in here. He could have 3 and 4 bet that.
Eli did put in a raise.
Of course, he has the nuts, and Matt's going to pay it off. He should only pay it off here. He doesn't have the nuts. So, but the 40 should be called. Exactly. And that's how you get, plus 205. You win a $200 pot in 1-2 hold'em. That would be considered a good pot.
Yeah.
This game has so much more value than 1-2 hold'em. It's amazing, but people just don't realize it. You can just play more hands. It's a little more funnier. I know they're yawning at the table, but
Look at that.
Jim's up 5-15.
Now, I would I thought Dean would have been up a little bit more.
He has seemingly run the best at the table.
Yeah.
But I mean, 5-15 in an hour.
Sure.
Most people would take that.
You're not sneezing at that.
No, I'm not. Eli's got another good one. Ace-9, 5-deuce should always be raising here. No, he's just going to call. Especially in this game that's tight. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on him to call. He should be raising. And he did. He's got 20 out there. Jonas should not be calling Jack 9, 8-deuce. Jonas should be folding that. Ace-8, 4-deuce. 3-bet. But he's just going to call the 20. Ace-king, queen 9, 20 to call. He's got a 1.
Now, you're saying you think Paul should have put in a raise there?
Absolutely.
All right.
3 wheel cards out of 4 in a game like this? Yes, build the pot up. I mean, he's, 5's perfect card for him. He'll have nut low in a 4 to 8 straight. Now, Eli's in there with ace-deuce 5 as well. He's not going anywhere. An 8 for him would be the money card. We'll have a 9 high straight and the nut low. Anybody really have any high here? Jack 9? Is Jack 9 the best?
Yeah.
Dean's calling a bet with nothing, just 3 overcards. The Jack comes. Now Jonas has got the best of it. He should be betting. Betting here, everybody's going to be relegated to check calling. It should be check folding, all except the people with the nut low draw. Jonas bets. Paul's going to call. And again, if Paul hits a 5 here, he's going to scoop. if Jonas hits the 8, Eli is still going to win the nut low. But well, there you go. And then again, if you're Jonas, so you should be betting that. The low had not gotten there yet. Still not there. Now all the people with ace-deuce are left with nothing. You're going to just take the pot down. Everybody should fold. Yeah, good fold. And Jonas wins 180.
Very nice.
Those are nice little pots. So the hand that should not have called pre-flop ends up winning a nice flop. Or a nice pot.
So back to poker here at the Palms, while we've got Ricky doing a little shuffling there. If you guys haven't been down here before, we are doing a new membership promo right now. First time in, you're going to get your first monthly membership for free and your first 3 hours as well. Going to save you some money. We are always spreading Hold'em. We've got some bigger PLO. We've been spreading, a little bit of these mixed games as well. So pretty much anything you're looking for, we're gonna more often than not be spreading that here.
You know what I like about the Palms, just as a little, that other poker rooms I don't believe do. Now, I haven't been to every poker room here in Austin.
Sure.
Okay, I don't want to say that I have, but I have visited a lot of them. Most of them don't play music. The Palms does play music.
We do have the nice little sound system in here. We'll put some, little Hall & Oates radio on there for
you. It
you.
never takes over. People can hear exactly at every table, but it's nice to have it on where it doesn't exist at other games. And
I actually hadn't even thought about that.
It's a very nice feature that I like. I'm a big singer. I like to, get into it. And so
there you have it, guys. If you like a little music while you play cards,
it's
Palms
here.
is the place.
It's the only place that I've been to that does it. And so it's a nice little added.
What's your favorite radio station that we put on here?
I don't know the name of it, but obviously everybody I think likes the old backyard barbecue.
The old hip hop barbecue is a good one.
The hip hop barbecue.
Little 80s and 90s and early 2000s hip hop. It's a good one. You'd hear a little Devil's Night on there for sure.
Matty McD. He plays one that is more my style, more of an alternative.
Mm-hmm.
He plays one that I like. And
then the Foster the People one. That's that one. That's a good station.
I do like that station
that is a good
as well.
Station.
And then I always just like the 80s, all the notes. And they take requests, people.
Yeah,
we'll change it, whatever you need.
I'm partial to the 60s, 70s, and 80s classic hits. Get a little mix of everything in there.
I love 70s. I'm not a huge fan of the 60s, but obviously, most of the stuff that they play on these Sirius or Spotify's are all hits. So these are, recognizable songs that you should like and get into.
Now, I put one on the other day, The Meters. I put that on, and it was pumping out some jams. I enjoyed that one.
That's funny. Trip 3 is going to take it down. Deuce 4 is going to get the low. Some of these very anticlimactic. Dean must have started with more because it says he's got 1.7K, but he was only up 515.
Now, do we know if there was a min and a max here? I'm assuming that the min would have been.
There is a min, but in a limit game, there's no max.
You just can because buy, you're never going to get that all in.
The bets are 10, 20.
Sure.
You can buy it for $1 million. But the min, I think, in a game like this would probably be 200 or 300.
Okay.
But I would typically suggest in a 10-20 game that you start. The minimum you should start with is 500.
Sure.
But thousands of, nice little number. That's going to win you some money. A lot of casinos around the country, even when Hold'em started, even when Moneymaker came on and everybody's the big splash, a lot of people don't understand that was tournament poker. And tournament poker is not the most prevalent form of poker played in casinos and or any of the social card clubs here in town. I mean, these are cash games. These are different. They're played differently, and so, but when you went to cash games in California back in the early 2000s, say 2002 to 2006, they did not even have, most of these rooms were limit only. Now, I know for one, Bay 101 played as little as 3-6, but they also played as high as 100, 200 limit. So, but where you found your best players was at 20, 40, and 40, 80. Those were the people that were grinders, knew what they were doing, knew how to maximize bets, fold when they had to, save bets. Those are the people that were taking it serious, trying to make money. You had your amateurs playing, 4-8, 6-12.
Sure.
Some of those limits, but then they started out with the spread limit. Where it was like, okay, the spread limit is 2 to 200. So your max bet, they treated it like no limit because you could now bet up to $200 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But if your stack was 1,200, you could never get it all in. 200 was the max bet. And then eventually most of these places adopted the no limit, and now you see it in every room across the United States. Every state, it doesn't matter. No limit is, what would you say, 90% of all the poker played?
100%.
At a cash game level?
100%.
Yeah, I mean, you don't, even the PLO, as hot as it's been, or as much as it's gaining,
No
I think,
limit hold'em will always be king.
Yeah.
I was out in San Francisco recently. It was a few years ago. And I stopped in a little casino while I was waiting on my hotel room to get ready. And a sweet old lady there told me that they had a nice little nickel dime limit game that spread at about 6 o'clock there that I should sign up for.
Nickel dime.
And she leaned in and gave me a little whisper and said, if you get real lucky, it turns into 10.25 late night. 10 cent, 25 cent.
That's so gross. What casino was that?
Sign
Do
me
you
up.
remember?
Oh, I don't know.
That is terrible. I've played a lot of the casinos in the Bay Area. Good action. Real good action. Yeah.
I played a little 3-card poker while I was there, but I wasn't interested in a nickel dime game.
I hit a bad beat jackpot at Lucky Chances in just south of San Francisco.
Wow. What'd you get
Years
paid out
ago.
on that?
I had the winner, so I hit a straight flush and beat quad sevens. And it was a $200,000 jackpot, so I made $40K.
Nice.
The guy whose quad sevens I beat made $100.
And the rest of the table split it?
The rest of the table share was a little over $8,600 apiece. So good night for all playing 1-2 no limit hold'em.
Wow.
A good ROI.
Yeah.
Dealer, big boy, I forget his name. He made about $7K though. It was a nice down.
Oh yeah.
For him, as everybody was tipping, and me and the winner tipped, pretty big. So he had a, but I think that's what you should get.
Well, shout out to that dealer if he's listening.
Yeah. If you're one of the 18 in the chat. We've lost some viewers. 12. It's terrible. Come on, guys. We're trying to make this entertaining, okay?
Not sure what else you could be doing on a Friday night, but
in Austin,
to each his
Texas,
own.
nothing. Come on. There's nothing to do here. Everybody's moving here. We get 65 new people a day on average, I think. So sick.
and if you're one of those 65 people, come down and check out the Palms.
Absolutely. 100%. Housing costs are going up. People are coming here. Paul's showing up with ace-9, deuce-3. It's beautiful. And again, ace-9, deuce-3. I mean, raise it up. I mean, let's get some money in here. That is a great low hand. Somebody raised.
There we go.
Jim, 10 to call. Dean, 10 to call. Dean raises ace-9, 8-3. Thank you. I would raise that hand too, especially if somebody limped. Now, ace-deuce-3 is in. You don't know that. He's going to call. He should be 3-betting. Jonas with 10, 7, 6, 6. Jonas, you're, in the long run, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to make much money playing this game if you play those hands that you play. You have hands that almost never make the nuts. We'll see, though. The last time I said something, he scooped it. So, any Jack 10s out there? No?
No,
Matt's got
we got a set of kings,
though.
yeah.
And there's 1-2 a low out there so far. So, I think Paul will probably give a courtesy call. Matt should be betting his set here. I know Jack 10 is the nuts. Nobody has it. But Paul should give a courtesy call with a backdoor nut low draw on top pair. He should be giving some sort of 10 to call. He calls, which he should. Dean also calls with top pair. His low has just been counterfeited, though. Oh, no, he's out. So, heads up. Turns quads. So, Paul's pretty much going to be done. And Matt's going to take this down. I mean, at this point, Matt just needs to bet his 20 and, pray that somebody has aces or kings or jack 10. No, doesn't happen. He's going to take it down, though. Nice hand. Quick poker advice to most people. Play quads. They're always a pretty good hand to have for the high in any form of poker. Except deuce to 7. Or your Raz. We're going to move on to another hand. Is anybody out there in Chatsville got any good trivia questions? Let us know. 40 big bets is a solid spot to start. You're absolutely right. We are getting another viewer, though, guys. 13 is strong. People showing up. There's not a lot of splashers on this one. Ace, king, queen, 10. I like to raise that hand. I mean, it's a hand that does play one way, but there is always going to be a high, and that's a good high hand to start with. Jack 8, 4 deuce. I mean, I wouldn't play it, but more power to you. 6, 7, 4 deuce. Queen 7, 5 deuce folds. Should. I like Eli's getting out some betting chips here. Eli's double suited too, so he's going to continue with this. Deuce 4 has been counterfeited. I think Eli should just bet and take this hand down pretty much. The other hands are pretty weak. Rodney does the right thing, fold. Mr. J called. Mr. J checks. Eli should be putting out a $20 bet. Mr. J should be folding. I don't know what he wants to come here. I mean, in his mind, he can't be beating anything. Yeah, he folds properly. It's big. In order to make money in this game, you have to fold when you have no equity. Saving bets in a limit game is how you make money. I mean, it's not running good. It's not, you're going to get probably your fair share of hands that you get to hit. Maximizing your hands and minimizing your losses is how you do it. Oh, my boy A-Rod joined. I know I'm a clown, but that's why everybody loves me, man. But the Weepocken kid is out there. That's all I care about. Glad you joined. One of the GOAT dealers here in town. And he works here at the Palms. Even more reason for you to come and play here. You're going to get more hands per hour with Anthony in the box. He's the fastest there is. Or at least that's what his girlfriend tells me. Another monster, 8875, calling 20. Rodney should not be playing that hand, probably. In any Omaha Hi-Lo game, 8s and 9s are your enemy. You don't want to play those too hard. And he's calling 2 bets with it. Jack, 5 deuce, ace, king, 9, 3. Jonas has got a hand here. The old 5, 5, 6. So just as I say that, Rodney hits him again. Trip 5s, open ender. The only one that may play here is Jonas with an ace 3. But Rodney played it. He should be betting it. He definitely should not be checking to see if anybody else has it. In this particular game, when you have something, bet it. Especially in limit. Jonas as predicted, he calls with the ace-3. Mr. J calls with the jack-5, which at this point is leading. I don't understand why he doesn't raise there with the jack-5, but we'll see what the turn brings. There you go. Now Rodney makes just the stones. 8's full. He knows nobody can have quads. He's going to chop it with Jonas because Jonas is never folding ace-3. But they may chop up Mr. J's money because he is probably not going anywhere with this 5 in his hand. He'll probably put in a call, which he does. To the river. Bad card for Jonas. Great card for Mr. J. He's actually going to win the low if he stays in. Rodney had the high locked up. And Jonas now has to just fold. It's actually a tragedy that Mr. J won any money in this particular pot. He did have a 5, but he was drawing so slim to anything, but he's going to get half of it. This game would be right up my alley there, Murph. I was actually signed up to do the game. Mike Jungblut has to do football on Friday nights. So they asked me to commentate, so I jump in here. For the 14 fans that are currently watching, you're welcome. Hey, we've had some. We may have had it up. Oh, I'm sorry. We just lost 2. My bad.
Killing it.
The game is definitely. You can play this game. As you suggested earlier, in this particular game, after seeing an hour of play here or whatever, how long it's been, the ultra aggressive would be able to take this game, be able to win money without hands really in this game. But if you're aggressive and you're making hands right now in this particular game, you can win $2,000. It's there. Back up to 14.
Back up.
Got him. Thank you for returning.
Oh.
Flying blind again.
There we go.
Got it. Just a PSA, don't touch the wires, man. Don't touch the wires. Ace, king 9 raises. Serviceable, absolutely. Especially double suited. King 7, 4, 3 from Paul should, yes, correct play. Queen 10, deuce 4 might, call. Especially for 15. He's got some sort of low. His hearts are dead. Deuce 5, 5, 6. I mean, in this particular situation, quite honestly, I'd 3-bet that. Just to see if I could get a small ball flop.
Sure. Nobody's
going to really put you on it, so you can. Let's get this pot up here.
Yeah.
I mean, when I win a pot, do you want to win $40 or do you want to win 80?
Clearly, I want to win 80.
Right. There you go. That's fine. He's flop top set, but if you would have 3-bet, Dean, you're sitting on 5 deuce. So you got 5, 6 too. You don't know it, but that is a serviceable low here. That's going to be the best of the hands in there, and you have that diamond draw that's good too.
Sure. I hope you guys are paying attention. I'm not going to retain any of this information, but Matt Myers is here just cracking eggs of knowledge over our head in terms of,
100%.
What you should be doing in a lot of these spots.
In a limit game, and the set of aces goes down. So now he should be betting. If he bets 20, he's only going to get called. When he gets called, he knows the guy doesn't have a flush. He's just absolutely sweating the board pair here. If he fades that, and it's a low card, he's scooping. If it's a low card, he should check call. If it's a board pair and a low card, he should be check calling no matter if the board pair's period. The board does not pair, and Eli is going to lose. Dean should be raising. I mean, there's got to be zero chance that Dean folds. But thank you, Dean. God, if you didn't. Plus 220 on a hand that if you 3-bet would have played like a king. God, Nostradamus in here, player.
Yeah, and like you said, the pots don't get insanely huge, but we've seen Dean take down multiple pots like this. He's up to 1.9 right now. So, I mean, sitting here,
right,
playing the way he's playing, I mean, just scooping a couple of these, you're going to make some good money in this game.
He has a hand that plays both ways with the
Sure.
deuce 5, 6, 6 or whatever. It can play high and low, just as you saw. He made a flush. If the low comes, it was good too. Now, I'm not saying don't play what Eli had. Double suited aces, you know, there's always going to be a high, and he made top set. But as we've all had top set go down, it goes down sometimes. And he had no backup, you know. But, I mean, this is, yeah. I mean, please, let me out on the table. I might go out after the stream is over.
We got that seat open for you.
Man, I'll be all over it.
Well, Maddie, we haven't done a little trivia in a little while. You got anything new for us?
Oh, man, let me think. Give me a second. I've got to pull one here.
I got a good one for any Matrix nerds out there.
Oh, if the 13 people watching, if there's not one Matrix nerd out there, I'd be shocked.
What was the code in the Matrix designed after? What did the production team use to design the code in the Matrix?
I'm at a loss, so I'm going to have to count on the people out there that may know. P. Willie said, not enough DQ chat. I mean, I don't know the flavor of the month at DQ right now for the Blizzard.
It's the pumpkin, baby.
Is it the pumpkin?
I think they got a little pumpkin spice
Pumpkin
Blizzard
spice?
over there.
But if you're talking about DQ, the player, he's not here, so there's no reason to talk about him. We don't, you know. Sorry. We'll try and invite him next time for the PLO, or the 08 or better stream. I'm not sure he's into it, but, you know, we'll ask if that's what it takes, P. Willie. We're here for the fans. What do you want? You make a suggestion. What's the next game we should stream? You just want Hold'em? What limits you want? What's the stakes? What's the lineup? You know, we will take suggestions. Consider the chat a suggestion box. Please. If you want me to shut up, say it.
Yeah, what we have coming up on Monday, actually, is 2-5 No Limit Hold'em. And then next Wednesday, I believe, we have a little 2-5 PLO as well. So be sure to tune into both of those. The 2-5 No Limit Hold'em that we've had here has been massive. And the PLO as well. It's been just out of control action.
Yeah, I mean, the games here, the funny thing is the games here play infinitely bigger than the same staked games in Vegas. It's crazy. I don't understand.
Don't let the 2-5 fool you. That's playing like 5-5 or even 5-10 sometimes. Even bigger than that, you know, that I've seen sometimes as well.
Yeah, I've had friends comment that I used to play with. You know, I used to live in the Chicagoland, Indiana area, which used to be, I don't know if it still is, but happened to be, Indiana area is like the second largest gaming center in the United States. They have casinos everywhere. But they watch the streams. Obviously, there's a lot of streams going on. Texas, for one, is about the center of the poker universe right now, even over Vegas. I know the series is going to start here in the next couple of days, so Vegas will take over. But on the non-series months, Texas right now, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. This
100%
is the center of the poker universe, and my friends call me all the time like, dude, these 2-5 and 1-3 games are like 10, 20 games.
Yep.
I'm like, and the PLO games, as you've seen the streams here, where, you know, in an hour, Paul's up 10,000 in a 2-5 PLO game.
Insane. Something that should never happen in a 2-5 PLO game. But it happens here at the Palms. We got a dealer change going on. It looks like we're going to have Mr. JoJo jumping in.
Mary Valdez does not know the answer, although she says she loves The Matrix.
The Matrix, one of my favorite movies of all time.
I don't know the answer.
It was a sushi recipe. So they took some they went to a Chinese or sushi menu and they took pictures of that, and that is how they made the code for the Matrix.
That is interesting. I'd never heard that. That is, for those of you out there,
That's me
all
showing my nerd
13.
colors.
There you go. Don't forget it. Break it out at the
Yep.
next game.
Speaking of, I like that Star Wars mask he's got.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's a Star
Yeah,
Wars.
I see it. Star
And he's repping the Iron Maiden shirt, baby. One of the best metal drummers of all time. Single kick. None of that double bass shit.
You would know. You would know. I mean, I trust your judgment on these single kick drum. Another hand, 8-6-3 deuce, gonna call. Deuce 3 plays okay for the low. Ace, queen, jack 7. I mean, they're all a lot of deuce 3s. Queen 10-3-4 will probably get in there. Suited queen. I mean, double suited. Play that. I just wish that I wish more of these people would be raising. You know, there's no. I mean,
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of raises tonight, unfortunately.
no, I mean, you got to just punish people. Make them play. If they want to play Jack 4-3 deuce or Queen 10-3-4, punish them. And Dean does. Thank you, Dean. Dean, you might be my hero tonight. Queen 10-3-4, raise to 20. Nobody's gonna Oh, Eli. Thank Dean and Eli. Those two have been kind of mixing it up all night. He 3-bets. Let's cap it. No reason to keep that extra 10 on the table. Everybody get in there. Cappuccino. What's $10? You can barely get a water meal for $10. You get it.
Shout out to Whataburger.
Yeah, for sure. If you're in Texas, this is not In-N-Out country. This is Whataburger country. Don't get it wrong.
Six ways to a flop.
You'll
10-4-6. Who's got the best of that? Looks like Dean right now.
And Eli's got, deuce 3, so he's got a solid shot at a low. Now, Matt has ace-deuce, so he's going to continue with his hand, and he has a gut shot, so he's going to play it fairly hard. Dean's got the 2 pair, so he was in there 2-betting. He's going to bet it again, and he raises, which he should. Paul, pair of 4s and deuce 3.
Rodney coming along with the Kings.
He shouldn't.
We've seen some questionable play made with Kings tonight.
Yeah, you should just let him go. Now, he could get lucky here, which is what he has to do. That is not going to work for him. Dean's hand got better, so I don't think Dean's going to stop.
Eli and Paul both turned to straight there.
Right, Dean.
We
got
had
his,
Dean pick up the heart draw on the turn.
and the guy sitting in the best position is old Matt over here with the only ace-deuce going. And so he's going to be able to... See, even though they made a straight, you understand the dynamics here. All they're doing is calling 20. You make a straight raise, but they're not. They're just calling.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a game where it seems like you would want to at least see where you're at with, and being able to just see where you're at for an extra 20 seems like you should be wanting to do that more often.
Super reasonable. And again, now the board pairs. Now nobody actually has.
Sure, but that's going to slow everybody down. Rodney actually has a 5, so
He may get caught up in there.
he might.
So king, playing the kings on the flop, he ends up making trip 5s. Might cost him an extra 20 because he's going to get nothing of this pot. Oh, well, it checked through. And so Matt's
going to get half with the low, and then Eli and Paul are going to chop up the rest.
just a plus 150. Nice. Dean, sorry, bud. You had good intentions. Unfortunately, sometimes good intentions don't pay the rent. Wheel 3-way chop. Have you dealt a lot of, you've dealt a lot of PLO, I know you have.
I've dealt a little bit of everything.
What's the difference in hands per hour, would you say, in a game like PLO, 4-card, obviously, versus Hold'em? What's the What's the difference?
So are you saying what's the difference in between dealing a PLO and then a game like this, or PLO and just regular Hold'em?
Just PLO and regular Hold'em. Like, how many hands per hour are you going to get in Hold'em in a 1-2 game or 1-3 versus?
That all depends on the table, honestly. I mean, so I come from home game background where, I want to pump out as many hands as possible. I'm going to be that asshole that's like, hey, man, I need you to hurry up and go. But here, we're a social club. We want people to enjoy themselves, take their time. They're paying for their seat just like everybody else. You're going to see probably 20 to 25 hands an hour in No Limit Hold'em.
What did you see in PLO?
PLO, on a good day, you can still see 20, but, I mean, I'd say a good dealer is going to see 15 to 18.
Okay. So probably on average, 5 less hands an hour you're getting in PLO as a dealer?
Sure.
Okay. And that's, for me, it's why I bring it up, because I think people should be tipping more in PLO. I mean, you're doing more. The hands are less.
You're doing a little bit more. You're waiting a little longer. There's bigger decisions to be be made in PLO.
I understand
it's not as cut and dry as No Limit Hold'em. So the hands are going to obviously take a little bit longer.
But bigger pots.
Yeah. And you're going to be chopping more often.
I think there's tips that need to be paid to the dealers who deal PLO.
Well, we appreciate any and every tip that you guys
give
us.
As a public service announcement for the people out there, if you're playing a game with PLO and you normally tip 1, tip 2. If you normally tip 2, tip 3. That ain't that much. Ain't going to cost anybody. And you know what it brings back to you? Good karma. And we could all use some of that on the poker table. We got another trivia question, though.
I must have run over a cat or something, because I tip really well and I've never won.
I tip well and I win, and I tip well. Most of the dealers root for me on the table. For sure.
Every dealer has somebody that they're rooting for in a pot. Let's just be completely honest.
Exactly. It's more of a trivia. I don't know if it's a trivia question or a riddle, but how do you follow Will Smith in the snow? I don't know. I'm unfamiliar, but we're going to let Matt give us a minute. Give us a minute.
How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
So I don't know what we're going to get here.
Oh, man. All right, yeah, give me a minute. Let me think about this. I'm going to have to get the old wheels turning.
I did see my boy Chris Chamberlain was watching. He could have fallen off. He's at a concert tonight. He was going to be
joining. Who's he seeing?
I don't even know. Some country band, last name Brothers. Not their last name, but their brothers.
Allman Brothers?
No. No, they're playing at the Sin City tonight at the old folks home.
No lighters. We don't want any oxygen tanks to blow up.
No lighters. You have to just use your cell phone light now.
Yep. How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
That is a gross card on the river for Matt, as Rodney had the trip 9.
God.
And Matt makes the boat. He's going to put in the bet. He's going to put in the raise and have the aces full. Yeah. You might as well just muck, Rodney. No need to hold on to him. There you go. That is a bad beat, though, Rodney, for sure. The old 2-outer comes through. V-Pip, Rodney, my hero. Thank you. 66.
66. Dean with 63. Eli.
They're going to be high anyways.
Yeah.
In this particular game. As you saw, the lowest V-Pip is 36%. In a Hold'em game, that might be the absolute highest V-Pip, unless you've got some crazies on the table.
You know what? I'm going to just go ahead and wave the white flag. I honestly do not know how you follow Will Smith in the snow. I've been sitting here trying to think of something. It's got to be something to do with his music or a movie. But for some reason, I just can't piece it together.
P. Willie asked a question. We are supposed to tip? Question mark? You know what, P. Willie? I don't know if you win many hands, so it's one of those things. If you win the hand, you tip. If you lose the hand, you don't have to. That's kind of how they, we do it here in Texas. I don't know where you're at, but win, tip, lose, you're good not to. Okay? Let me know if that helps. Did we get an answer on that?
We didn't get an answer yet on the Will Smith.
Hit us back with that answer. How do you
Hit
follow
us back.
I don't know know. Is it going to have some Fresh Prince reference?
That's what I was trying to think of. Fresh Prince. I was trying to think of. I honestly can't even think of any movies except for Bad Boys, I Am Legend, and like
7 pounds.
Ali.
Yeah.
What's the concussion movie he did? Maybe that's it.
30 minutes.
Guys, I think we got about 30 more minutes in the stream. I know there's 14 people watching. Try to dry your tears. You know, we can do it again if there's a request. You know, if you get a petition going around for us to do the 08 again, we will do it. We're not afraid, okay? Where else can you get 4 or 5-way action on a 5-5 Jack Queen flop? What's going to be in here? Nothing? Ace 10's got a gutter. Oh, I'm sorry. Rodney has the 5.
And he's already got it locked up, it says.
Locked up. Good. He needs this one.
Oh, Rodney.
The other one was a bad one. He should win this one. Jonas bets 10 with a gutter. Well, how does Rodney have it locked up? He folded.
What? He wasn't aware that he had it locked up.
Look at.
Oh, I mean, Rodney.
Does the king do? Is this a chop?
This is a chop. King Dewey. We did get an answer for that. You follow the Fresh Prince.
So
we were on the trail.
You were on the right track with the Fresh Prince.
Yep. You follow the Fresh Prince.
That was terrible, guys. That's okay though. We'll take it. we wow. It's a good one. P. Willie says, no, I don't. I'm going to assume that you said, no, you don't win. Hey, man, listen to me more. Listen to these. I've dropped a lot of knowledge here tonight.
People pay good money for this type of information, too. Yeah.
Buddy, I can also do life coaching, whatever you need. I'm not afraid to give my opinion on almost any subject. Okay? So you let me know where the help is needed, and I'll help you out. That's what I do.
I almost just started singing the Frasier theme song.
Exactly.
Oh, baby, I hear the blues.
Yeah. Frasier Crane.
Picking up a little Frasier vibes from you.
For sure, man. I can help, dude. I'm an aged dude. Got a lot of wisdom. Had children. Been married. You know. Traveled a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you need, man. I got a lot of knowledge on alcohol, even though I don't drink.
Yeah, you'll come in here and hit us with some pretty fancy bottles every once in a while.
Yeah, extensive collection. Dealing mainly in bourbons during the pandemic. It seems like, kind of like everything else, bourbons, sports cards, everything's went up in value.
Yeah.
Homes, it's crazy.
What's
So,
what's the fanciest bottle of bourbon that you ever had your hands on?
Oh. I mean, that I've actually touched would probably be the Pappy Van Winkle Special Reserve 23. You know, that's kind of the holy grail.
And what does that run for?
Retail, it's only going to run for $2.99.
Oh, really?
But you can't ever get it retail. So
it's just a rare bottle.
Yeah, they're allocated, which means, you know, say Specs or Total Wine or some big store like that, it's going to get just a certain number of bottles.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there are certain people who buy a ton of things from Specs. Specs has a number 1, number 2, number 3 customer.
Mm-hmm.
We're not on that list. We're not in the, we're nowhere near the top. So they save those bottles for customers who spend a ton in those places. So those are the people that get an opportunity to sell those bottles. If you want one, there's always a secondary market, which is where these people are doing a lot of trading and things like that on the bourbon market. But so a bottle that retails for $2.99 and it's Pappy 23, you're probably going to spend $5,000. or
Just because it's that hard to get your hands on.
yes,
Good Lord.
you won't find them, you know. And so if you do come across a bottle, if you want to open it, don't.
Yeah.
Go get the Crown and drink that. Just keep that, you know, for the children. So, you know, a little retirement or something
Yeah, I
like
tend
that.
to lean more towards the plastic bottles. You
Yeah.
know?
Dude, the Rich and Rare is serviceable. If
KD, little Kentucky
you
Delight.
mix it with Coke, it tastes like a lot of other things. So,
Kentucky
but
Derby.
yeah, I mean, that's the holy grail. There's others too. I mean, there's a lot. You know, Buffalo Trace is a distillery that has a very large kind of allocated collection of, it's called Stag,
Mhm.
George C. Stag. They've got Stag Junior, but they've got Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare 17 is very rare. It's, you know, 15, 17, 1900 a bottle.
Good
But
Lord.
again, the retail on them is not that. You just can't find it.
Oh,
So you'll
man.
never see an Eagle Rare 17 on the bottle of any of the liquor stores in here. George C. Stags, you're never gonna. Occasionally you see one. If you do see it, buy it, especially if it's at retail. Absolutely snap it up if you see it. Even bottles of like Blanton's, which is becoming very popular, is going to retail for like $65. You can probably sell those in the secondary for $150, depending on who wants it. You know, and they've got special bottles, but.
Goodness.
Bourbon's a big market. Scotch is always a big market. Wine obviously is monstrous.
Jim's
Yeah.
flopping top set of aces here. Yeah, I didn't realize that there was that type of market for it. I'm not a huge drinker myself or anything,
Right.
and if I do drink, I'm not really a big bourbon guy. But it sounds like I need to be on the lookout for some of these bottles.
For sure. Now you've got Paul in there. I would have been raising if I was Paul. Paul was top pair, open ended with some form of a low draw.
Sure.
That's very decent. I mean, he's got a gutter to the wheel. Now I know he's in there against top set, but he has a lot of outs to
Yeah.
get a lot of this pot. So at this point, when somebody bet 20, you know, I'm sorry, I'm just going to be. Tell me he hit it.
He did.
Yes, so he hit the straight. So I mean, Jim's no good. Jim has no low. He's playing a one-way hand, and he's 20 call, boom, scooper,
Sure.
raise.
I
You
mean,
got 4-5 in a straight raise. I mean, I'm gonna make people pay. I mean, it's you have to. I don't know why people will not raise in this game. What is the deal?
well, I've got to bid you adieu, Maddie. I think in about 30 minutes we're going to be wrapped up ourselves anyways. I got to get out and do some floor work. It's been a pleasure.
Understand? I'll carry us the rest of the way.
That's
Thank you.
right.
It was, it was good. It was a joyous experience.
That's it's a little nerve wracking. Like I said, shout out to Mike Youngblood. Definitely give him props. Hit him with the super chats. Shake his hand. Give him a howdy next time you see him. Thank him for the work that he's doing back here. This is hard work, and I definitely respect the hell out of him even more after being back here. And you,
Yeah.
you know, you do this quite often as well. But yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you all for watching.
Glad to have you here, man. I will definitely take us the rest of the way here. 4-5, 5-6. I don't know why he's folding. I'd have to raise that hand. We're gonna see who's. Looks like Eli's racking up. Maybe he's ready to go. Eli, good play. I enjoyed watching you tonight. Jonas in there with ace 10 9 6 suited ace. Kings is in there. Ace queen 10 7 is going to play one way. A lot of one wayers tonight. I frown upon that. Two way. Two way's the way to go. Steve's going to hit us with another one. So a termite walks into a bar and asks, "Is the bartender here?" That is too good. Stop. You're the man, though. Flush draw for Jonas. He's not going to go anywhere. He's also got some form of straight draw gutter. You got Paul calling with an inferior flush draw, top pair. Oh, I'm sorry, he's got two pair, queens and sevens. He's actually winning now. Any 6/8s in here? No. So the low is starting to form. Anybody? Deuce 4. You know, maybe something that sticks around. He does have a pair, so he may stick around. I like Jonas betting here. If he does hit the flush, he knows it's the nuts typically. Again, he still has a straight draw, 2 and 8. He's got an ace-6 low draw, which he probably can't think is good, but you never know. But I like that he bets. He's forcing people to, you know, make some decisions. Paul actually folds the best hand with the queen 7. And that's why you bet. Put people to the test. Make them make a decision with a hand like 2 pair. Now Matt calls with the deuce 4, which, you know, suspect, but you know it is good. And now the deuce 4 turns even better. Jonah's going to win the high. Matt's going to win the low. Even though the flush didn't get there, he got the best hand out. Nice play on you, Jonah. That's what happens when you bet these draws. Especially in a game like this. $20. I mean, let's, you know, start building it. It will come. Field of dreams, baby. We haven't had too many pots tonight, if any I recall, that we're actually like, you know, really just 2 monsters or 3 monsters where we're capping every street. I mean, that's what should be going on in a 10-20 game. Unfortunately, there's none. You know, it's not happening. We're going to see another one, though. We're not going to stop. King 9, 8-6 with 3 hearts. That should fold, which it does. Rodney with the King 4-4 deuce. Seems like the deuce 4s are playing for the low tonight. Eli's calling, which I would too with ace 4, 5, 6. Jonas, of course, is calling. He's got queens. He's actually got a suit too. Ace 3, 5, 5 should actually be possibly 3-betting. King, Queen, 10, 7, double suited. You know, if you're closing the action, I guess I would call. But I don't know how willing I mean, $20, I guess I'd get in there. You know, it is. I mean, it's okay to take some flops in this game. If you hit your hand, some of these hands are very clear to play. You either hit it or you don't. You move on or you start maximizing. I don't like to see people play marginal hands, hit them, and then not get value from them. So Jack 10-6 is going to play strong here for Paul's hand. He's open-ended. The hearts. Any heart draws out here? No, not really. None. But, you know, in a game where there's 4 cards in everybody's hands, it's almost, you've got to put somebody on the hearts. Another 10 on the turn. I thought there was a hand in here that was King, Queen, 10, but apparently that's gone. So Jonas is going to lead with the queens. And quite honestly, it might get through. I don't know if Jack 9 may call now that he picked up the spade draw. Or no, he did bet. I'm sorry, Dean did bet picking up the spade draw. Queens comes along, which is good right now. He just wants to sweat the spade here. That deuce is of no consequence. Dean's going to check. Jonas should check. Queens is going to win with queens and 10s. Jonas is making a living out of this. Another plus 140. Again, considered a great little pot in 1-2. Winning $140 pots, man. You're doing all right. Should be a game people should be learning, playing more, getting the community bigger. I know it's not fun to watch on stream. A lot of limited action. With just the not a lot of nuance in terms of betting, and being able to bet somebody off their hand. It's just about playing solid, a lot of pre-flop hand selection, being solid, being disciplined, able to lay stuff down, things like that. So it helps your overall game too, to be perfectly honest. You're doing a good job picking up all the cards tonight too. Sometimes I'm a little concerned when we're playing some of these more than 2 card games with the readers, but it seems like they're doing a pretty solid job. King Jack 10 deuce folds. Eli 9-6 deuce 3. Deuce 3's been playing a lot, and Eli, if you're gonna play it to a raise. I like your style. Jonas now 3-betting queens, double suited. Good on him. It's only going to play one way, so he's going to be vulnerable here. Jim obviously should be cappuccino on this with ace-10 deuce 3, but he just puts in the call. And Dean's got the aces, so he calls as well. Let's see what a flop here. Hopefully we get an interesting one.
Boring as shit.
What's that?
Pretty boring for us.
Yeah.
Jeremy was a good idea. I liked it. That's normal shit.
Yeah, just get people involved.
Alright.
I mean, I want to see a flop here. Let's get something good. Let's get an ace, queen, 4 flop, so we've got something going on. Well, there's top set, and there's the 4s. But Jonas, who plays some of the more suspect hands, is hitting his hands. By all means, Jonas, bet it. Thank you. Betting 10. Dean's going to call the 10. I would too with aces when it's only 10. Jim, what's Jim going to do? Eli? Eli's calling with the deuce 3. Little suspect call by Eli there. It's tough to make any hand with your 4 cards right now. You're going to have to call. You're going to have to pick up a draw. You're still not going to have anything. Eli's dead. Basically, everybody's drawing dead except Dean. He's got an ace to hit for the winner. So Eli, Dean, just a call. And he's going to call 20 now on the river, too. Doesn't matter what comes. Ace comes, he'll raise. Nope. So he's locked in. It's going to be 20 in a call. 20 in a call. And Dean's going to see the bad news. Nice hand.
Alright, Matt, how much limit poker have you played?
A lot.
So what is the secret to the game?
Laying hands down and your pre-hand selection.
It's all about saving the big bet on the
Absolutely. If you're beat, you got to lay the hands down. These guys are trying to pick up, bets per hour when they're playing. But when you're playing a 20-40 limit game, you don't want to, if you have the worst of it, you don't want to call 40.
Right.
But then trying to maximize when you have the queens there and somebody has, he's got to put them on a hand, right? He had to put them on a 4 probably. Didn't realize he had aces, but bet it so he can just pay you off. If you're him and you had aces, I don't understand why he paid it off. He had to put Jonas on
at least a 4.
It had to.
Right.
He never slowed down.
Right.
If they tell the story in limit, the story is normally true. There's not a lot of bluffing you can do, And all he could do was beat a bluff there. I guess he could beat a queen, 1 queen, but normally in that situation, Jonas would be checking on the river with 1 queen, knowing that this guy could have a 4.
Right.
So putting all that together. But what you normally get in a standard limit game is you get a round, full round game, or full ring game, 9 players. 4 or 5 of them aren't going to know what to do, and they're going to just pay you off there with aces. So when you get in a situation where you have the aces there, just save $40.
How often do you see in a normal game? Not people calling on a
king jack 3 board just to try to pick up a runner low draw.
You see it a lot. I mean, that's the thing. They hate, people hate folding their hands that, they think have some sort of pre-flop value. I mean, I like king deuce 3 here. In this particular game, it plays high and it plays low.
No,
And
queen jack 10-9.
that only plays high. I don't mind you playing it, and I like that Jonas is all of a sudden, here since the stream's ending in 5 minutes or whatever, it's picking up with the 3 and 4 bet action. If you're going to come in for it, I mean, that's a very good PLO hand. You know that.
Right.
Double suited queen jack 9-10.
But no low.
There is no low possibility for him there, but that's great. 3 bet it.
Right.
I mean, in a limit game, 3 bet it. Get it up there. And so you got to punish, Rodney wants to play queen 9-7-6, which plays terrible both ways.
Right.
For the most part.
So now, for example, say that Rodney had 9-8-7-6. Now, a lot of people who are familiar with high Omaha High will overvalue that hand in low, but you only have you're losing on both ends more often than not.
Especially in high low.
Right, and high low.
Yeah, in any form of Omaha that has a high and a low, 8s and 9s are
dirt.
You get that's right. Now you get a good flop here because Matt's got aces with ace 5 and he's got the nut flush draw.
Right.
So he's not going to fold. He's got a gutter to the wheel, nut flush draw. I know the board paired 8s. Nobody has one here, so I think he's going to be good for the high. But he's got Eli, who's got second nut flush. He's got Jonas, who has fourth nut flush.
Yeah.
That are probably going to pay him off $20.
Right. And
That's the thing. And he has second nut low. He's got a hand that plays both ways.
right.
And that's what you want to have.
But this is kind of a trouble card for him here, right? Because it's the 5, which seemingly counterfeits his low.
Absolutely it does. And so now ace 7 plays to a better low. Or his ace 7 will still play.
Right. But
Because nobody else has anything. It switches. He doesn't realize it. He thinks he got a bad break on the river there by the 5 getting counterfeited.
Right.
But in reality, he's still, he's calling to when he's actually going to scoop. Eli is going to call it off with second nut flush and no low. So.
So I mean, that's where a lot of people get into trouble at with these games, especially like in limit, because they can't really adjust to the strategy of saving that bet.
No.
It's not really. I've found that it's not really about maximizing the bet more as
Saving
the
bets.
bets.
Yeah.
Because
it's so
easy to call off for
$20
$20
with second nuts there. You want to see it. But a lot of times there's just not a lot of bluffing. If they're telling the story, they have it. And it's the same in Big O. Just take a sample size if you ever sit down and, a lot of people take poker way too seriously and they study the range, especially no limit and, GTO and everything. Well, take a limit game and take a sample size of 100 hands and see how many guys are leading or raising on the river with the non-nuts. It's not very many. They have it.
Right.
Or they have some form of huge hand. Or they wouldn't be leading, or they wouldn't be raising. They're not doing it just for funsies.
Now, I don't think people really understand how much the math changes by just adding a 5th card when you go from 4 to 5. Like,
it becomes that much more nuttier both ways.
Right.
So you want to really know your player, or really, just.
How often is Big O played in a limit setting?
In a no limit setting?
In a limit.
I've never seen it.
It's usually pot limit only,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
They play at pot limit. But it's not something that's played very often. Obviously, we try to get some games here in the Austin area, in which we do. And then at the series, they'll play it at the Rio quite a bit. And always at the Rio, it's played pot limit.
Right.
It's never no limit, or it's never limit. It's always pot limit. So, similar to, Omaha, if you just play PLO, it's, just pot limit. They're never going to play 4-card high, no limit. They have, but it's rare. And it's rare that you play 4-card limit. But when you do play at limit, it's typically playing at the higher limits. So you're talking
like
about 40, 80s and stuff like that.
For a 10-20, what would you think your bankroll needs to be on average just to withstand the swings of a high-low game?
I don't think it has to be high at all in this particular game because you can play this game to really minimalize your swings. I mean, you know, with the high and low, good pre-flop hand selections. You know, there's less variance in this game because it plays two ways, and if you're playing two-way hands, you shouldn't have this huge swing because there's not huge bets that you can be swinging. In a PLO game, God's sakes, you know, you have aces full, but it's aces full of deuces, and they have quad deuces. It's very tough to get away from, and you can lose larger amounts of money. So the swings there can be, as you've probably experienced, large, you know, and it's just like a cooler situation. You get a cooler situation here, you go 20 and he goes to 40 and you go, okay, I got aces full, let me go 60, and he goes 80, you're like, well, what the hell can he be raising me with? Let me just call here.
Right.
And you lost 80.
But that does bring up a point, though. Like, in limit, you do have an option if you go to that street heads up to go all in at any point.
At a lot of games I've played at, yes. You can, it can be a no limit on the raises. You know, but at some point, you realize that you don't have the stones.
So what are they re-raising?
And you just call.
Yeah.
You know, now if you have the stones, you just keep raising.
Right.
You know, and in a situation where the nuts is a straight, and you raise and they raise and then you raise and they raise, you have the same straight. I mean, it's just going to happen. You know, and so.
So then you just eventually just call too. So
yeah, like, can we please stop?
Yeah.
Let's just chop this up, move to the next hand. So yeah, it happens all the time. But you know, limit to me was the best teaching. Even in Hold'em was the best teaching tool. It gave you an opportunity without losing a ton of money to see kind of what hands played and see how hands played out and see how often that when you had a straight and there was 3 diamonds out there, like, and they bet 20, you can call and see, okay, they don't always have the flush.
Right.
But in no limit, you can have that dynamic to your game where somebody has the balls to not have the flush, dump it all in, you have a straight, you may have to lay it down, you know, and you don't get to see that you were right about your read. So I think in a limit game, Hold'em, Omaha, your reads become sharper, you know, and you get to test your theories and say, man, I had the right read on this guy, and I was able to see it without having to lay it down or without having to lose the 1,200 by calling. I only lost 160 in the hand. So I think it's a great teaching tool. And the hardest Hold'em game I ever played was 40-80 at Bay 101. I mean, those guys knew what the hell they were doing.
It seemed like a really tough game.
It was, man. You played 40-80, they were pros.
Yeah.
20-40 was decent because you get a good mix of people who knew what they were doing and a good people just like to gamble. So there was money to be made. 8-16, you know, which they played a lot at. They didn't have a 10-20 there. They had 8-16. That was a gamble game. You know, you played and people loved to just see, you know, in the 4-8s and all that. That's just.
And that's where the kills come in.
Yeah.
And the over buttons and
exactly.
so forth, right? And that's, like, for people who don't know, like, I'll let Matt explain what a kill is. And
typically, if a guy wins 2 hands in a row, there's a kill button, which then, more than just a kill button, you see the half kill. And so in a 10-20 game, it'll make it 15-30 for the next hand. In a full kill game, it'll make it 20-40. Right. So it just goes up. And so one of my biggest losses ever was Venetian 15-30, this game right here. 08, 15-30 limit with the kill. And, you know.
Did they have an overs button as well?
No.
Okay.
But that's a good one, too. You know.
The overs button is an option if it gets to everyone who has overs button left in the hand.
You can play at a bigger
bet.
Yeah.
So.
And so that's what, you know. But they typically, I see more overs in a home game setting than I do at a casino setting.
I would imagine so.
Casinos try to keep it real. I mean, you know, in a casino, goal is they want your ass in that seat for 24 straight hours. They could care less what you're winning, losing. Just stay in the seat so we can rake pots. So they design stuff. You know, I think they design stuff for you not to lose, or on the poker world, they just want you sitting. They don't care if you win or lose. They don't want you to win too fast, lose too fast, because both in a Vegas setting get up. I mean, hell, you know me. When I get up, I'm out the door.
I think there was already somebody talking about you, Yuckano or something.
Yeah. I'm hit and run Matt. I mean, if I'm up, I'm gone. My chips are unlocked.
Unless I'm there, then he'll stick around for a little bit.
I mean, if the game's good, if the game's super juicy, but I set a goal and I stick to it. And if I reach my number, if the game's juicy, I'm happy with it.
And that's really the hardest battle for like a winning strategy, right? Is sticking to that limit.
That is my
number and and continuing with it, and also sticking to a lost number in your head.
That is my poker superpower, is being able to get up when I'm ahead.
Being disciplined.
And a lot of people just don't have it. And to their credit, they have bigger wins than I do, but they also have bigger losses than I do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And they have. I mean, I give them credit because there are some games that, quite honestly, and I don't play for a living, so I don't need or stress about the dollars too much. But some of the games are really, really juicy, and you shouldn't leave them. The opportunity to make scores is there,
right.
And I would say, hey, if you feel like you have an edge in that game, and you've been proven to be a solid player, and you have that edge, stay. I mean, the longer you stay, the more the edge is going to play out, and you're going to make money. But again, I stick to my strategy and my limits.
But also with the juicier game, it's going to be more volatile than you're wanting to. Like
that.
So I mean, if you're not being able to isolate, heads up, or
right,
you're gonna have hit harder variances as a result.
To me, that's the biggest thing about playing it. I don't, strategy shouldn't change from a 1-2 game to a 10-20 game,
right.
But it does, because a lot of people the 10-20 game really shouldn't be playing it. They're worried now when they're playing at a 1-2 game. They're not worried about the money, but at a 10-20 game, they're worried about the money.
So funny story. Like when I first started playing in the Austin Circle, it was at a 1-2 game, but then I got invited to a limit game, and they had, for some reason, they just had a random night where there was a 5-10 no limit game going. So I took my little bankroll in there, sat down, and this guy was just going nuts, man, and like it was like all in pre-flop for like $1,000 every time,
right.
And I'm like, I gotta get up. And I just took my $300 loss and walked out.
I mean, you can win at that game,
but I was terrified because I was playing with my bankroll at that moment.
Yeah.
And the smartest thing I probably did was get up from the table
they can always get lucky.
Yes, and I actually saw one of the best. First time I got to meet one of the best players in Austin, but he's no longer in Austin.
Who was it?
Jason Sue. I don't know.
No, I didn't know him.
He's a really solid guy. He actually does coaching for poker now.
Does he? Well, yeah, you have to be solid.
But he,
look, you see the winnings, though?
Yeah.
Look, you can sit here all night. Rodney.
He must have just missed every draw, too.
Rodney missed everything. He took a huge one.
I don't know if he's like a very splashy guy.
No, and he flopped trips, and the guy stuck with him with aces and hit the ace on the river.
Yeah.
That was a big one that he took. That he probably lost 100. 100 on that hand, but even still, 600's palatable. But as you saw, I mean, there's winnings too.
Right.
I mean, to me, this game, if this game was ever offered when I was playing Hold'em, I played it. Even in Hold'em form, 10-20 limit, it plays just as big as, to me, 1-2 no limit. Now, maybe not here in some of the Texas locations, which can get off the hook with some of the...
It's ridiculous.
Right, but you can win. Your money is never... All your money's never at risk in this game, and you can win just as much money.
Well, thank you, Matt, for joining us to commentate tonight. Good night, guys. Wish y'all well, and good luck on the fellas.
Yeah.